Hey everybody, so we're talking about continuous domain. I want you to think of cursive writing when you're thinking of continuous domain because you are continuously keeping your pencil, for the most part, on your paper. Flip that open. Remember for domain, this is a set of all possible x values of a function. If you remember Dr. Idiot, it's your domain is your x values, your independent variable, and your input. Remember, these are the different ways of you saying domain. For the first one, we're going to go ahead and look at is this. Remember for domain that we're working from left to right. And the reason why we're working from left to right is because our smallest numbers, our least numbers are here, and our greater numbers are on the right-hand side. Whenever you're setting up your inequality for a continuous domain, you're going to go less than x less than. I'm going to try it again so you guys can see it. Less than x less than. Always set it up like that, and we can always add things from this if we need. So we're going to start from the left right here, and I have a highlighter so I can keep up. And when I come in from the left right here, this is 2, 3, 4, -5. So we write -5. If you'll remember when we were doing inequalities, when you have a closed circle, you're going to draw a line under this. Closed circle is part of the line. Remember, on the line, draw a line. So that's your left-hand side, but now we got to come from the right. And I'm using this highlighter to kind of help me and figure out where my stopping point is because this is my rightmost point. So this is going to be 1, 2, and this is 3. Because this is a closed circle and it's on the line, we're going to draw a line. When you have two n values, when you have circles, whether they be open or closed, this is all you need to do. It's going to be your left number less than x less than your right number. Either this one or both can be closed. So either or both can be closed. Oops. Now we're going to work on this one right here, which are our continuous ones. You'll notice they only have 1 point apiece. But don't worry, we're just going to do it like normal. We're going to do less than x less than. And we're going to start from the left, which gets you a -4. You'll notice that this is actually an open circle, so we will not draw the line. It is not on the line, so you will not draw the line. Now you're going to come from the right, and you'll notice that's not even a point. In fact, it's an arrow. And what that arrow means is going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going, which means it's going to go into infinity. And because these numbers are going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, these are going to be a positive infinity. When you have one infinity, you have one more way of writing this inequality. What I do to help me with that is I cover up my infinity. So I have -4 is less than x. But we don't write our inequalities like that. We have to start with our variable. So we're going to do x, and remember you swap, and it becomes x is greater than -4. We're going to apply the same process to number 3 with less than x less than. You've already got it set up. Start from the left. In this one, because you're coming from the left and you have an arrow here, it's still an infinity. but this time it's a negative infinity because all of these numbers there are negatives and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we're going to come from the right. On this right, we have a closed circle at 4 when our x is 4. And because it's on the line, you're going to draw a line. 1 infinity, one more way of writing it. Cover up that. And this one's easier. So when we are doing this, we're going to have two different options when you have one end value. This is when you have your left number, or when you have your right number, it's going to look something like this. And I want you to write yourself a reminder. 1 infinity, one more way to write. All right, so we're going to do the same thing here. And I know you already see 2 arrows. Don't freak out. We're still going to set it up like normal. Less than, x, less than. And you're going to start from the left. Remember, we're working from left to right, left to right. This left one is an arrow, and because these are all going to be negative numbers and it's coming from the left, we're going to put negative infinity. And now we're going to come from the right, which is also an arrow. So we're going to put another infinity. Now, you'll recall when we had 1 infinity, there was one more way of writing it. When you have 2 infinities, you have 2 more ways of writing it. So I'm going to write that in so I remember 2 infinities, 2 more ways to write. This one is actually very similar. You've seen it before when we were solving equations. You've used this phrase. It's all real numbers. And then remember, we have that favorite symbol with it. It's a little chunky. It's your fat R. You do that with the line, fat R. Whenever you have arrows coming on both your left and your right, that's all there is, and you can write it any of these 3 ways. When you are taking your test, especially in 9th grade, you're not going to see these infinity symbols as much. But that's where we get each of these different statements. So if you can do the infinities, you can do everything else. Thanks for watching about our continuous domain. I want you to flip to the front and make sure that you remind yourself that you're going to set it up as less than, x, less than. That way you always remember that's how you set up domain.